Payback, Book 2 in the Hackers Thriller series, written by L.J. Greatrex and narrated by Angus Freathy. Chapter 1. I lifted Lorna into the limousine and watched as she slowly came to. Her reaction wasn't exactly what I was expecting. Just a lift of one eyebrow was all she could manage, which was fine by me, as the question-and-answer session would have to wait for the time being. The only thing on my mind at this moment was just to hold her in my arms and reassure her that it really was me. The hotel lift arrived, and Paul held Lorna's dress to prevent it being trapped in the doors. I could tell from his demeanour that he was full of questions. I could read his mind, and knew he was wondering how on earth I had arrived at the cruise ship, just as much as I was wondering the same thing about him. I felt unable to find words that would explain any of the scenarios, as it was inevitable that one answer would lead to another question, and so on, and I was unprepared for an inquisition of any kind right now. My facial expression directed towards him had the desired effect, as he withdrew to his room, giving Lorna and me the breathing space we both craved. As he closed the door, all I could do was look into her beautiful face. There seemed to be no words to describe the feelings we were both experiencing at this precise moment. Holding each other seemed all we needed. I was well aware that this was not going to be easy, more so for Lorna, as she had thought I was lost to her forever, but as her eyes lifted to look straight into mine, the temptation to kiss her became unbearable. As if she understood my feelings of reticence, she moved towards me and kissed my mouth full on. I kissed her back with a passion that I was unaware I was capable of. The whole world seemed to disappear around us. With a feeling greater than I had ever experienced, I was consumed by the need to express to Lorna the love I felt for her, and would continue to feel for the rest of my life. I didn't want the night to end for many reasons. The most obvious was the fact that Lorna would have to return home to the children. Parting again so soon would be difficult to bear, but explaining my disappearance would be even harder. We agreed to leave the explanations for the next time we met, and savour what time we knew we had together. I was impatient to arrange our next meeting, as I could no longer wait for us to be back together as a family, no matter how hard it would be explaining to the children my sudden arrival back into their lives. My mind was in turmoil. I was well aware I would have to give her chapter and verse at our next meeting. In the meantime, we agreed to keep the children in the dark for a short while longer, until she had time to hear the full story and work out how we could break the news, not only to Katie and Bryn, but also her parents, who had also been frantic about my disappearance. The rest of the world would have to wait much longer to hear about my reappearance, and I promised to put her in the picture at our next meeting, as she would then have a better understanding of the circumstances. All I could think about at that moment was how I would let her go so soon after last night. Chapter 2. Paul's expression said it all. "I know things had taken an unexpected turn," I began. "Turn, you say?" His expression of horror was unmistakable. This was going to be harder than I thought. "Please, Paul, it really was a coincidence." I stumbled over my words. I had no idea you would be in Cayman with Lorna." "I had no idea you would be anywhere near Cayman," he shouted back. "You should have been at your mansion," he said accusingly. "Things happened," I said, which seemed weak compared to the mess I now had to sort out. "Look, Paul," I began again, "I can explain. It just may take a while, and I have little time with Lorna as it is. Can this wait until I get my head around what's happened? Please try to come back after you've taken Lorna home and made sure she's okay. We can go through the details, not only of our chance meeting, but I need to talk to you about how I can work everything out for the best." He could see my obvious distress, and in true Paul style he began to calm down, and agreed to get back as soon as he could. "Please email me when Lorna has settled down at home with the children. I'll need to give this a great deal of thought, as I don't want to let her down again," I said, although I had no idea how I would work this one out, this being the most important part of all the scenarios that had taken place. As I waved goodbye from the airport in Grand Cayman, I felt totally lost.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?